My name is Yul Vazquez. I'm an actor. You may know me from some things recently, The Outsider on HBO and Seinfeld and any number of things, which we're not going to go into here. But Yvette and Patrick, who I love dearly, who I'm wearing a shirt that they gave me as a present, and I'm enormous fans of theirs, asked me to do this, and I really welcome the opportunity because I team Pahokee. I grew up in Florida. I'm in Florida right now. I have some sense of that area, and I related to you guys in the film in many ways. You know, the struggle of somebody from a working class family trying to make something of themselves and lift themselves and lift their families up is something that really affected me. So when I watch this film, and I'm seeing it's a time capsule. That capsule begins from the day you start shooting the film till the day you stop rolling the film. Your lives continue, but that piece is now frozen. Will you remember that time fondly or not? I'm just sort of curious what your feelings are.
Definitely will always remember this film. Actually, like every time you can ask Kara, every time we watch it, or probably me, I'm always crying. Like I've watched this film already like 10 times and I still cry all the time. But the first time, like it was super emotional. Like it was almost like I couldn't even breathe because it was just so impactful, like watching the whole film and like watching like, everyone's lives like play out. And just like in a matter of like 2 hours, like I felt like I had learned so much from everyone, and I just had to take a moment back and just kind of reflect on it. And then the second time when it was at Sundance, like me and Kira were holding hands because we were so nervous. Just we had never like seen such a big crowd, and it was our first time like seeing the movie with the whole crowd. So that was something else. That was quite an experience. But definitely like the film definitely captured like um me, at least in high school, trying to make it out and trying to make something of myself and continue like the legacy of like my family, and just being like a first generation Mexican American attempting to attend a college and hopefully like make my parents proud and do something for myself, and then one day like come back and bring all that I can, all that I learn back to the community someday when I'm more well developed in my profession.
Mine would be the same as Hokabet because the same as her, it's always a reflection for me. Like just yesterday, a situation came about, and as always, I cry about everything. If I'm mad, if I'm sad, whatever it is, I'm gonna cry about it before I actually sit down and think about it and evaluate the situation. So a situation came up, and it's always dramatic about it. But then I just thought about it, and I was like, I've done this many times. I've done worse than this. This is not the end. You need to get yourself together. Keep it moving and call it a day. But for me, that's what it will always be for me because I know of all the things, that was going on behind closed doors. And some things that used to make me cry and stuff like that, during that time, I look at it now and I just laugh about it. And I feel like it's made me a better person, most definitely a better woman. And I think if I didn't do half of the things or went through half of the things I went through then, I wouldn't be 22 on my own car, my own apartment, just taking care of myself on top of my sister and my mom. So I'm just thankful for it.
Yes, it would be a good memory because of the fact, I'm trying, I'm still trying. Been on my own for a little while now. And by the time I get in the future and I be living good, living better, I'll be like, yeah, man, I've been through some rough times and I feel like this will help me out in the long run.
Yeah, it will always be a very memorable moment, a little piece that we put together. I found myself going back, not watching the actual film, but Patrick released like game footage every Saturday and Sunday after the game. So I find myself like when I'm in school, or even when I just had started school in my dorm, I used to like go back and like play those things like hundreds and hundreds of times, just like reminiscing about how great of a time that was. And when seeing the film, it just brought like life. Just brought seeing my old friends, some of them that I don't get to see often now. I just go back and watch the film, and it just brings back so much great memories.
What was it like to have Patrick and Yvette there in your town? Suddenly you guys are in your town, and then Patrick and Yvette come waltzing in there with their fancy equipment. You know, what was that for the community, for the town, for what did that feel like? And I'd love to hear from all of you guys on this. Big Show, you want to kick it off?
When Patrick and Yvette came in, I mean, they were already there doing some shorts or whatever. And then they came with the idea of, okay, we want to do this whole year. We want to spend the whole year here and, asking to be a part of it, and Patrick will tell you, the first thing I said to him was, as long as you capture the real things about Pahokee and not just, film and then go back and conjure up your own, stories, what you feel it should be, or how it you perceive it to be, because that has happened already with some other notable people that came and did their documentaries of Pahokee and painted the picture that we was this like third world country type thing. With this film, I think they did a great job, man. They were here. It was just, my son, I let him speak on his part, but being around, I was used to Patrick. Man, Patrick was cool. He went rabbit hunting with everybody. We ate rabbit, we fried rabbit. When I,
Yeah.
did a couple of parties here and there, Patrick show up. Hey, Brian, you want a beer? I'm like, Patrick, what you doing here? And he just blended in with everybody, and everybody knew Patrick.
So, just like Big Show said, they had already been around. I had like seen them from afar, but I didn't really like get to meet them like one on one. Then when they filmed like Kara and at the time like her boyfriend, so they had done like I think 2 shorts at the time or one. I think it was a send off and then the rabbit hunt. It was actually thanks to Kara that I met Patrick and Yvette. She just pretty much came to me. She's like, "Oh hey, like I don't know if you've heard, but these people do this and this is their work. They like want to get to know like, someone Hispanic, Latinx in the community." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like that sounds cool. Like we're gonna set up a date and like, just to have a casual conversation." And at the time I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I really thought it was more like a whole like kind of YouTube kind of series. I
Right.
didn't really think that it was gonna be like this, like something that would blow up so big. And that was just kind of like how I got started with the whole film. And then pretty much they definitely integrated a lot with my family and they bonded a lot. Like my parents like accepted them as like friends and like they were not strangers. Especially because Yvette is like Mexican and she can like relate
Yes.
as well. And like Patrick's Patrick. Like everyone loves Patrick.
But your parents were a little bit afraid of Patrick, no?
No, like
No, I'm
they
kidding.
really
I'm kidding.
they really thought Patrick was really funny.
I'm just kidding. It's terrible.
My dad like really loves Patrick a lot. And Patrick eats a lot of burritos. Yeah, and he likes that guacamole sauce. And we just kind of got close like that. And I, like you said, I was just being myself in the like when they were like, okay, like just kind of put your mic on and then we're just gonna be yourself and we're gonna just hang around and just film. So it didn't feel like at first, yeah, like I said, it felt kind of strange because I'm not used to the spotlight, but then like they just blended in with the background because I didn't really take note of them. So that was like my experience with it.
Okay. Kyria, how about you?
But when I first saw them, I really didn't pay attention. It wasn't until they started, after they finished the short and then they were around. But it was the same. I had got used to him before the cameras were on me. So it was natural to have him there.
BJ, how about you?
It was kind of, let's just say, you know how you have someone always around, but you try not to notice them or try not to look at the camera or do stuff like that. So it was kind of having a sense of awareness that all right, Patrick and Yvette is around. So and it was kind of unfiltered. It was majority of it was unfiltered. So it was just straight raw uncut film.
Did any of your friends come up to you and say, dude, what's up? What's up with these dudes? What are they doing here?
Nah, they kind of knew. Like, I hang around a good group of people, so they kind of knew who Patrick and Yvette was. I mean, Patrick knew everybody. Patrick no more people in Pahokee than I do, so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody knows Patrick. Even my neighbors here who never met him, they ask me about Patrick all the time. I have a question for you guys, and so you understand. I have a perspective of watching the film that is very different from the perspective that you guys have because you were there. That's one of the things when you make something, you'll have a memory of making it that is only your thing. The audience of millions does not have the same memory. They're just sitting in the theater watching this thing. There's a thing that Patrick and Yvette do, which is part of their magic, is that they take these documentaries, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I'm watching a documentary. It seems like I'm watching a film, a narrative film. And it blurs this line that is a very, very incredible thing to watch as an audience member. I'm just curious for you guys, when you watch this, did you ever forget that you were watching you in the film? Kiri, I'll start with you.
Mostly on the parts when like Patrick gets the cane fields and like the gators that were out of the water, like those are sometimes sites that we take advantage of because we're there all the time, so we don't get a chance to really observe the beauty of it, I guess I would say. And then watching my other classmates and stuff like that. So sometimes it did kind of blur away that it was a movie about us and not just, just people we don't know.
Just enjoying that scenery, like Kiri just said. I paid attention to how they use the nature to depict basically what took place in that movie. When it was a bright sunny day, everything was going on, everyone was happy. Then came the thunderstorms. You heard the thunderstorm in the background, and now here's FHSAA giving the bad news about the football game and taking away the everything from the kids. Then it became sunny again. So we transitioned from that, and then toward the end, now here's the sunset. Going down in the background. I mean, this film has come to an end. So how they use, the just nature just to flow with the film, man, I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. So when I seen the film, I wasn't looking at it from a memory standpoint. I was looking at it as in like, wow, this is what Huckleberry does when she goes home, or Junior is going through this at home, or Nakiria does this when she's not in school. Because I'm not around them, outside of school. I just know that that's my classmate. So I was looking at it from like, wow, like that's good insight on, like I would have never knew that those things happening in their lives if I didn't watch this film.
Yeah, I forgot because like BJ said, you don't know what other people go through at home, and it's kind of amazing. Like, wow, they have to go through this at home, and you like around them 24/7, and it's just amazing. It's like, wow, and I just agree with him with saying that.
what BJ said definitely resonated. Like I said before, like I would just like him, like I wouldn't have known half the things that went on in everyone's life had I not watched this film. It made me also like reflect a lot about like sometimes like we're so busy in our own worlds and just trying to grind and just live life and do the best we can, that sometimes like we tend to forget like or about our surroundings and what happens in other people's lives. And I think that just goes to show that sometimes like we need to take a step back and just kind of check up on each other. I remember at a festival, someone pointed this out to me and I didn't even really notice. I just thought it was like super normal. When Patrick like filmed me getting my college acceptance and then me crying and then like me going to the taco shop and so eagerly like waiting to tell my parents, but like I couldn't tell my parents that like I had gotten accepted. Like I just had to wait until like they stopped working and like they had a little bit of like 5-10 seconds to for me to get their attention and be like, hey, like I got into college, okay, like let's start working again. So someone pointed that out to me and I didn't like really realize that this is such a fast-paced life and sometimes like we don't even get to enjoy like moments like that. And I couldn't even have the time to celebrate because it was just like work 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 work. That's all I've known my whole life. And I'm pretty sure like that's the same that's also like a similar story that people can relate to. So until like someone didn't point that out to me, like I hadn't really noticed that. Like I really thought it was just something normal.
Listen, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very best in your lives, and I look forward to meeting you in person. And I all the blessings that you desire, may they all come to you, and then may you just be happy people.
Thank
Same
you.
to you.
The pleasure was mine.